Hey guys, today I'm going to be giving a tree an MRI. Well, not exactly. My friend Michael and I have seen a bunch of these videos online where people cut a piece of wood into a million pieces and then do a stop motion to stitch them together. And so it looks like the camera is kind of like flowing through a piece of wood. You can see all the changes to the grain and different features in the wood. And we want to try to replicate that and give it our own twist. So let's see if we can do it. So I started looking around the woods for some different chunks of wood that would look really cool to do this to. And I ended up finding a bunch of different pieces, some kind of fresher wood, some kind of rotten wood, just to have a range of stuff to play around with and some options, especially once we figure out what looks cool when we do it. And this kind of was the process for most of the pieces we did. We started by kind of roughing them out with a chainsaw, and then I hit it with this electric hand planer just to get it flat enough that we could hot glue it to a piece of MDF. Now, in this case, hot glue actually worked great. I think it's just strong enough to hold like two rough pieces of wood together, and also it's really good at like filling voids. So our first idea, and probably the most logical, was just to send the piece through the planer and take a picture after every pass we do. This way it's super precise. This was kind of the test run, so I didn't get much footage of us actually taking pictures, but we spent about 3 or 4 hours working on it, and this is what the result looked like. Yep, that was it. That was about 4 hours of work, and we got about 3 seconds of footage. And the footage is pretty shaky, but we were really happy now because this kind of proved what we were doing was going to work. And we were pretty confident we'd be able to get a lot of that shakiness and camera problems fixed in the next runs. But man, it just looks really cool watching all the grain move around and seeing all the cool hidden features inside the wood. So now we're setting up for our next test piece. This test and the first one are both white oak. And I made sure to find some oak because oak has very defined annular rings. And I figured when we slice through that, it'll be really easy to tell what's going on. This piece also was from a limb that fell, and so it has some really cool spalting and rotten parts and stuff like that, so that's just going to make it even cooler to watch when it cuts through. Now I gotta say, Michael and I have been buddies for a long time, and he's an awesome filmmaker, so you should totally check out his stuff. I linked it down below, and there should be a link right here. I was also interested in this piece because it's right where the tree splits and another branch comes off. And usually when something like that happens, the wood grain kind of gets crazy and tangled up. Sometimes it creates what's called burl, and that can just look really cool and ribbony. So it's going to be really cool to see what the inside of this looks like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That makes it like way more dramatic.
This is gonna look sick, though.
Do you want to give me your opinion?
Yeah. You'll probably have to
move
hand pick through the whole
I don't
thing.
care. Dude, are you kidding me?
Does that shot look good?
Yeah. The lighting is like creating these cool shadows. Alright. We're chilling. Alright.
This go around, we were smart enough to set up the planer right next to where we were taking pictures, and that helped speed up the process. We also kind of just fixed everything down a little bit better, so there wasn't much wiggle room. And it seems to have really paid off. What are we looking like? Oh man, the lighting's really nice.
Yeah. There we go. We put on fast forward.
Oh, the bark is crazy.
I like how it falls away. It's almost like some sort of like door opening, some sort of portal.
Oh, it's so cool. It looks like the piece didn't move that bad too.
It looks like it's multiple fluids of like different densities, the way some like emerge.
Like how chunks just start coming out at the end.
Definitely a lot of frames to pick out.
It's definitely better than the first one though, that's for sure. There's a lot of really cool stuff to look at in here. First of all, I want to point out this stuff. This is called spalting. It's a type of fungus that infiltrates into the wood and starts to rot it, but it looks really cool. And I think it's interesting how you can follow these different pinholes through the wood and see how the spalting is moving through the wood with the wood grain. This is a second shot we also got out of that same piece of wood. It's a lot shorter, but it's still pretty interesting to look at. I like watching all the little pieces of sawdust dance around on the bark. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Sick.
That was a lot more successful than last time.
I know, that is way better. I'm excited to see when you put it
And
together.
next time will be even better.
Do you want to try, I think it's like 330. We could try the chop saw.
Sure.
Next, we're going to try what I've seen several people do online, which is do kind of the same thing, but use the chop saw. And so every cut we make with the chop saw, we'll shave off a little bit. This, I think, might be a little harder to be precise because we're going to take off way more with each cut. On the planer, we were taking off about a 32nd of an inch every cut, but with this chop saw, it's going to take off about an 1/8 of an inch every time. So instead of going in from the top of the grain, we're going to be looking down on the tree the way it grows. So we'll probably be able to see some more interesting stuff.
Oh,
dang! Goodness. Oh.
I was right in the splash zone.
We went like 2 feet into that though. Even though this shot came out a little bit rougher, I still think it looks really cool just because it's different than the other shots. Like the other piece, you can also see the spalting kind of seeping into the wood, and you can see how the annular rings kind of move and grow as you move up and down the trunk. I also like seeing the little knot we pop through. That most likely was a branch that broke off when the tree was younger and got stuck in the wood. Now I have time to do one more of these tests, and I went looking for a specific type of wood. I found this chunk of cedar that had fallen over, and this is going to be perfect because I wanted to find a wood that had a really defined heartwood, or the wood inside, because I thought seeing the transition between the heartwood and the sapwood would be really cool to see. Also, this is a much better way to get one flat surface compared to how I was doing it earlier with the chainsaw. Now, I think this is my favorite one Michael and I were able to do. It's just the cleanest, and I think you can see how much better we've gotten at this process since we've done it. This shot is about 10 seconds long, and it took 260 frames to make it up. And I'm really glad I picked that red cedar, because there's just like really cool stuff going on the inside. Really like how it looks seeing part of the end grain as the planer cuts down on it. Now, right here, you can actually see the pith. That's the very center of the tree, and that's kind of left over from when it first started to grow. But I think it's just really cool to be able to see all these details so clearly in the wood. Well, that's kind of as far as we were able to get this time. Like I said earlier, this process just takes a whole lot more time than I anticipated. To get about 1 second of like time-lapse footage, it took about an hour or two, depending on what piece we were doing and how we were doing it. It's kind of defeating, but also like I think we got some pretty cool results. So I think there's going to be a part 2 to this video in the next few months. Me and Michael are going to try to figure out some even cooler things to do, maybe some different objects to do it too. We need to try it on the CNC too and see if that helps. But if you have any ideas for cool things to do this to, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Or just any ideas how to make the process better. That'd be good to hear too. Anyways, I think this was a pretty fun project and I'm pretty happy with the results. So hopefully the next video is even cooler. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next time.